What if today isn't just another day, but the day you choose to begin? Hi there, it's Luna, and I want to ask you something. Have you ever woken up, stretched, and felt that little tug in your chest? A whisper saying, "One day I'll do it." I know that feeling well. The way it teases you with promise, then drifts away as you scroll your phone or pour another cup of coffee. But what if today is different? What if today doesn't get filed away as one day, but becomes day one? As we dive into this episode, you'll hear stories of people just like you and me, ordinary souls making extraordinary shifts. We'll explore why that elusive someday never quite arrives, how to catch those fleeting moments of courage, and how to turn them into lasting habits. By the end of our time together, about an hour of honest conversation, you'll have practical insights, real-life examples, and a gentle roadmap for transforming your dreams into actions. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's treat this moment as your fresh start. Why do we wait for a perfect moment when every moment already holds potential? Imagine your life as a garden. You have seeds of ideas, hopes, and dreams tucked in your pocket. We all carry them, but we wait for the right season, the right weather, or the right mood to plant them. In those quiet lulls, we tell ourselves, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I need more time." Yet the sun rises and sets, whether or not we plant a single seed. Today we'll get curious about that tendency to wait. I'll share how me, Luna, spent months drafting scripts and delaying the first recording of my podcast because I thought I needed a studio, perfect equipment, or the right voice. Spoiler, none of that mattered as much as my willingness to start imperfectly. In this episode, you'll learn how to embrace the messy beginning, how to break down big dreams into small, doable steps, and how to celebrate even the tiniest wins. You'll hear a guided reflection in a few minutes that will help you pinpoint your own one day, the habit or project you've been postponing, and frame it as day one. Get ready to pause, reflect, and, most importantly, act. What's really holding you back from taking that first step? I want you to picture a mountain trail. You stand at its base, looking up at the peak, feeling both excitement and intimidation. That's exactly how starting feels, a mix of awe and fear. Let me tell you about my friend Sarah, who dreamed of writing a novel but couldn't type a single paragraph. She was frozen by questions. Is my voice good enough? What if no one reads it? One day, she realized that waiting for confidence only deepens the wait. So instead of trying for a perfect page one, she wrote one sentence every morning, no matter how rough. Over weeks, those sentences piled up into paragraphs, then chapters. The secret was shifting her mindset from, "I must know how to finish," to, "I only need to start." In this part, I'll walk you through that shift, how to notice the inner critic, name it. Oh, hello, there's doubt again. And let it sit quietly while you take action anyway. I'll guide you through a short exercise. Close your eyes. Think of that project you've been delaying and name the first tiny action you can take in the next 10 minutes. Then, breathe and commit to just that. Simple, right? Yet radical because it stops the runaway train of overthinking. How can small steps build unstoppable momentum? Momentum is a magical force. You push a snowball down a hill, and before you know it, you're rolling an avalanche. The same principle applies to our goals. Let me share my own snowball moment. In my early podcast days, I aimed to reach 100 subscribers. Instead of obsessing over that big number, I focused on one new listener per day. I wrote a heartfelt thank you message to each commenter, learned from their feedback, and improved the next episode. That one-by-one approach felt almost too small to matter, until it snowballed. Suddenly, I wasn't chasing hundreds. I was riding a wave of genuine connections. In this section, we'll talk about habit stacking, attaching a new habit to an existing routine, and how celebrating the tiniest of wins keeps your motivation alive. We'll also discuss the power of consistency over intensity. 10 minutes every day beats a frantic 2-hour binge once a month. I'll share a guided reflection to help you identify a daily micro step tied to something you already do, whether it's after brushing your teeth, during your lunch break, or just before bed. What if failure isn't the end, but the beginning of something better? Failure has a terrible reputation, but let's give it a makeover. I remember the first time an episode of my show flopped, 0 views in the first day. I felt crushed, convinced I'd wasted time. But then I asked myself, what did I learn? I realized the topic didn't resonate, the title wasn't clear, and my audio levels were off. Instead of giving up, I tweaked my approach, re-recorded, and relaunched with fresh energy. That failure was my best teacher. In this part, you'll hear about reframing mistakes as information, a mindset shift that turns every setback into a stepping stone. We'll unpack the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset using simple everyday examples, like learning a new dance move, fumbling through it, and then laughing your way to improvement. I'll guide you through a brief journaling prompt. Think of a recent failure and list 3 insights you gained. Notice how that exercise can dissolve shame and spark curiosity. How do you keep going when the initial excitement fades? The honeymoon phase of a new project is amazing. Everything feels fresh, exciting, and full of promise. But after the first few weeks, life's demands press in, and motivation wanes. This is where many voices fall silent. I want to share how I navigated that lull with my podcast. After 5 episodes, I felt drained, wondered if anyone was listening, and almost called it quits. That's when I discovered the power of community. I invited a friend onto the show for a casual chat. No fancy editing, just genuine conversation. Hearing her perspective reignited my passion. In this section, we'll explore ways to inject fun and variety into your routine, collaborating with a peer, trying a new format, or scheduling a creative play day. We'll also talk about accountability, how a simple check-in with a friend can turn inertia into action. I'll prompt you to reach out to someone this week, share your day 1 goal, and schedule a follow-up. What stories are you telling yourself? And how can you rewrite them? Human beings are narrative machines. We construct stories to make sense of our lives. Stories about who we are, what we can and cannot do. But sometimes those stories box us in. I used to tell myself, I'm not a public speaker, which made me both nervous and hesitant. One day, I realized that story was just that, a story. I began reframing it. I'm someone who gets better each time I practice. With that new narrative, each recording felt like training, not a final exam. In this part, we'll dive into the art of self-talk, noticing the language you use. I can't. I'm too old. I'm not good enough. And gently shifting it. I'm learning. I'm improving. I'll guide you through a short affirmation exercise. Craft a personal mantra that feels true, hopeful, and actionable. Then we'll talk about the importance of speaking that mantra out loud every morning. How do you build habits that stick without burning out? Building a habit isn't about willpower, it's about designing your environment and mindset. Think of your daily routine as a series of habits stacked like building blocks. If one block wobbles, the whole structure can tilt. I struggled with this when trying to write every morning. I'd hit snooze and scrapped my writing time. So I moved my laptop to the kitchen table, set an alarm in the next room, and told my family to remind me. Suddenly, it was easier to write a few hundred words before the day's chaos began. In this section, we'll explore cues, routines, and rewards, the habit loop, and how to tinker with it until it feels effortless. We'll also discuss temptation bundling, like listening to your favorite podcast only while you exercise. I'll invite you to choose one habit you want to form, map out its cue and reward, and commit to tweaking your environment this week. What does progress look like when you're too close to see it? Progress often feels invisible because it unfolds gradually. I remember checking my subscriber count every morning, seeing only small increments, and feeling discouraged. Then a mentor reminded me, true progress is measured in months, not days. He encouraged me to look back over 6 months, see how far I'd come, and celebrate that distance. In this part, we'll talk about tracking progress with simple metrics, like completed sessions, time spent, or qualitative feedback, and how to review them monthly. I'll share a quick exercise. Pull out your calendar or notes app. Mark every day you. Are you ready to turn one day into day one? Starting now. We've traveled together through questions, reflections, and real stories. Now it's your turn to act. I want you to choose that one project, habit, or dream you've been shelving and commit to a concrete first step today. Say it out loud. Today is day one of... Fill in the blank. Then share it with someone. Post in a community, text a friend, or whisper it to your mirror. Remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about momentum. As you move forward, revisit these voiceovers, lean into the exercises, and celebrate every tiny victory. You have everything you need: curiosity, courage, and this moment. Let's close with a deep breath and a promise that today you begin.